The scrutiny of the world's observers has likely never been so intensely focused on the Bayerischer Hof in Munich as it has been this weekend. Even preceding the official opening of the Munich Security Conference, the German foreign minister underscored the paramount importance of this moment. "We stand," he stated, "at a critical juncture, an existential turning point for our collective security, for peace sustained by freedom within Europe." The spotlight, particularly, is on internal dynamics. The United States Vice President initially anticipated to deliver a keynote address on security policy and the ongoing situation in Ukraine, ceded the stage to another. This individual stepped forward with a stark reckoning, a critical appraisal specifically aimed at Europe. How, this person questioned, can we even begin to address matters of fiscal responsibility when we lack a clear understanding of what we are fundamentally obligated to defend? The most substantial threat, it was argued, stems not from external powers like Russia or China, but rather originates within. This internal threat, according to the speaker, manifests in the erosion of freedom of expression, the disregard for the democratic will of the electorate, and the increasing limitations placed upon the practice of Christianity. The atmosphere within the hall was palpable with shock as this new American perspective took hold. The message was unambiguous. A new authority has emerged in Washington. However, even amidst disagreements with the leader's approach, it was emphasized that the U.S. would resolutely defend the right of all to freely express their opinions, regardless of whether they align with or challenge the established order. It had already become clear that Europe would need to make a more significant commitment to its own defense. Regardless of the composition of any future German government, defense spending must increase. This imperative was also conveyed unequivocally to German President Steinmeier. While acknowledging the call for Germany to disengage, the president did not refrain from criticizing the United States, characterizing its current course as reckless, both in its domestic policies and its foreign engagements, and ultimately detrimental to the principles of liberal democracy. Despite these criticisms, the German defense minister had previously emphasized the indispensable nature of U.S. support, particularly in securing a potential peace in Ukraine. As Europeans, we are not currently equipped to provide an effective deterrent in Ukraine without American backing, regardless of the form that support takes. This reality must be understood by all. Following the day's events, and particularly the address by the U.S. Vice President, it is now evident that challenging times lie ahead for Europe. Before we proceed further, I want to remind all of you watching to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. It's a small action, but it makes a huge difference in helping us reach more people and bring you more of the content you love. Also, let us know in the comments where you are watching from. And now, don't go anywhere. Stick around until the very end. At the end of the video, we'll be summing up all the key takeaways, so you won't want to miss it. Following the speech by the U.S. Vice President, rough times are coming for Europe. My colleague Timo Machiesen is at the Munich Security Conference. Timo, you heard the speech live. Actually, DayTV wanted to talk about security policy. Now a slightly different topic. What were the reactions to it? Yes, Jay Wenz can obviously judge himself well. He said at the beginning, "I hope this is not the last applause I get." And that was exactly how it was with this speech. We need to take a breather now. We need to think a lot about it, certainly afterwards. Was a tough reckoning with Europe. We heard it in the report. The concern about freedom of speech, about the understanding of democracy. Hal, he denounced that JDV in his speech attacks Europe. Yes, and not a word about the Ukraine crisis. The outlines of a peace plan should really be on the table. That's what everyone here expected. Instead, they will probably only find a sensible solution in Ukraine. But that's it. Yes, and not a word about NATO either. So not a lot has come out of that. But at 5 p.m. JD Van is meeting with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And then we may be a bit wiser. And you will continue to monitor the security conference for us. Thank you, Timo. The global landscape is undergoing profound shifts, with numerous significant events unfolding across various corners of the world. Let's delve into these developments and examine their potential implications. The focus now shifts to a detailed exploration of the specific issues raised at the Munich Security Conference. We'll dissect the arguments made, consider their historical context, and assess their potential long-term consequences for international relations. This involves looking at the underlying tensions between the United States and Europe, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, and the broader implications for global security architecture. This segment will provide a comprehensive analysis of the economic ramifications of the current geopolitical climate. We'll examine how increased defense spending, trade disputes, and sanctions are impacting global markets, supply chains, and economic stability. We'll also explore potential strategies for mitigating these risks and fostering sustainable economic growth. The next section will be dedicated to examining the various perspectives and reactions to the events at the Munich Security Conference. We'll analyze the responses from political leaders, diplomats, academics, and the general public. This will provide a nuanced understanding of the complex dynamics at play and the challenges of building consensus in a multipolar world. In this part, we turn our attention to potential future scenarios and policy recommendations. Based on the analysis presented in the previous sections, we'll explore different pathways forward and offer concrete suggestions for addressing the challenges and opportunities facing the international community. This includes exploring avenues for de-escalation, conflict resolution, and promoting multilateral cooperation. The penultimate section will focus on the role of international organizations, such as NATO and the United Nations, in addressing the current global challenges. We'll examine their strengths and weaknesses and explore potential reforms to enhance their effectiveness in promoting peace, security, and sustainable development. Finally, we'll delve into the broader implications of the events discussed for the future of democracy, human rights, and international law. We'll explore the challenges posed by authoritarianism, populism, and the erosion of trust in institutions. We'll also examine potential strategies for strengthening democratic values, promoting human rights, and upholding the rule of law in a rapidly changing world. Conclusion, stated at the beginning. Now let's bring this all together. What are the key takeaways from the Munich Security Conference and the events surrounding it? The conference highlighted deep divisions between the US and Europe on key issues, particularly regarding defense spending and the approach to the conflict in Ukraine. The US is pushing for increased European defense spending and a more assertive stance towards Russia, while many European leaders are wary of escalating tensions and prioritizing diplomatic solutions. The lack of consensus on these critical issues poses a significant challenge to the transatlantic alliance and undermines efforts to address global security threats. The conference also underscored the growing importance of a multipolar world, with China and other emerging powers playing an increasingly significant role in international affairs. This shift in the global balance of power requires a renewed commitment to multilateralism and a willingness to engage with diverse perspectives. The events at the Munich Security Conference serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of international peace and security. The world faces numerous challenges, including armed conflicts, economic instability, climate change, and the rise of authoritarianism. Addressing these challenges requires a concerted effort from all nations, based on shared values and a commitment to international cooperation. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of global events. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it informative, and share it with your friends. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Where are you watching from, and what are your key takeaways from the Munich Security Conference?